Hello, everyone, and welcome to Maple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Jacob.
And we're doing another before and after today.
Yes, we are. Do you want me to explain what that is?
Oh, if you want to, sure, go ahead.
I guess I might as well.
I'll put a little sparkle effect.
Awesome. A before and after is where we give you our expectations of a game before we've ever played it. All we've done is gone over the rules, we've set it up, looked at the pieces, looked at some of the cards, things like that. And then we're going to tell you what we think we're going to feel and experience as we play the game. Then we're going to play it one time, come right back to you, and tell you our first impressions of that gameplay.
And today, that game is Guilds of London.
Yes. This one has quite a bit of hype behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a few videos on it. It looked interesting, so I thought I would pick it up. The gameplay seems very clean.
Right.
Like, you have either, on your turn, you can play as many cards as you want. You're either going to hire a new guy, move a guy, or do a special action from one of the cards.
Yep.
I think the interesting thing in this game for me is going to come from wanting to play all the cards.
Yes.
But then you're only going to draw 2 if you play a card on your turn. If you don't play any cards, you're going to draw 4.
Right.
So you could play all 6 of your cards, but then you're only going to get 2 at the end.
Unless you're playing cards that have special abilities that let you draw more cards.
Yeah, so I think cards are going to be an important resource to keep your eye on in this game. And then you're going to just be vying for different area control in the different tiles, the different guilds in London. The other thing is that I think I'll like with this game is the combo nature.
Yes.
Because each turn when you're playing down those cards, you could kind of build a combo for that round to soup up your actions or do different things like that.
Sure.
So I think those are the 2 things I'm really going to like about this game is the card management as a resource as well as the combo building nature, which I love combos.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see there being lots of combos in this game. I think you're going to be riddled with tough decisions because you're going to want to play every card for its ability, but you can't do that. You have to discard cards as money in order to play another card down. This is a feature that I've seen in the game Oddville, which is in my collection. Yeah. Similar thing where you have to discard cards to play other cards. I loved that feature in that game, so I think I'm really going to enjoy that feature in this game as well.
Cool. Well, that's really all I have to say about the game going into it.
Right.
We'll see what I think afterwards. Anything else for you?
No, I think that was about it.
All right, let's get it to the table, and then we'll come back and see what we think of Guilds of London.
All right. See you soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We just finished our first play of Guilds of London.
And it's time for some first impressions.
Yes, so we mentioned that this was a game that had some hype behind it.
Yeah.
Did it live up to the hype for you?
Not at all. No. Not even remotely. I hadn't done no research on this game beforehand. I didn't even know what it looked like until you brought it out on the table. I had no idea what the actions were,
right, or
the mechanisms rather. So I was going into this blind. I just heard that it was really hyped up. I was surprised at how kind of simplistic the gameplay seemed,
right,
when you explained it to me.
So before we go any further, I should say we played a 3-player game.
Yep.
And it took us an hour and 24 minutes
to
play the game. Now, I wanted to play it 3-player because I felt that with more players, there'd be more trying to gain control over different regions.
Sure.
So more people vying for the area control, the more interesting the game would seem.
Sure.
With 3 players, though, still, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of that going on. I mean, there were a significant number of tiles that were scored only by one person.
Yep.
Like, it was the last person, this was their last turn before the end of the round. Mm-hmm. So no one else would be able to take an action. They just moved enough guys on the tile to completely score it themselves.
Right.
And that happened for almost, I think, half the tiles that were scored. So I didn't even feel that whole... we're trying to vie for control of these different tiles. So that area of the game fell flat for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there was only a couple regions. Anytime I thought about going and taking over a region, it was usually heavily populated already. And the amount of actions I would have to take to get enough guys over there so I could compete didn't seem worth it when there were so many other options where I could just move in and take this one without any competition.
Well, and exactly like you said, there were so many other options. I felt that the game was too busy. Sure. There were too many tiles available. Like, because the space wasn't confined, I didn't feel like I had to fight with you guys over anything. I could just go to, any number of the other 8 or 10 available tiles and score that one.
Yeah, an interesting feature might be if you took out maybe every second one of those add more tile segments so that you'd constantly be running out of tiles on a regular basis. Right. Or if you had to run out of tiles before you placed new tiles down, because the tiles just periodically come out when you hit certain rounds, around every 3 rounds. Yeah,
I just felt this game had too much of a lot of stuff. It had too many tiles. There wasn't enough constriction. There was it was too long, too. Halfway through the game, I was looking at it, I was like, I'm ready for the game to be over.
Right.
I felt like I'm just doing the same things over and over and over again for 15 rounds.
Right.
And halfway through the game, I was like, okay, this would be a good ending point for the game. I would have got the same feeling, same amount out of the game at that point than going to the end of the game.
Right. And I think part of that problem is there is some analysis paralysis. We talked about having tough decisions about what actions or which cards to throw away to power up different cards. How many cards am I getting rid of? Because you don't want to just blow your entire hand and then have no cards in the following rounds.
Yeah.
Because of that analysis paralysis, it's slowing down the game. You also, I found, this is my personal opinion anyways, that I couldn't really take my turns or plan out my turns until everyone else had gone before me, because I don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
Are you going to move into the territories that I want to go into and contest that? Are you going to be doing anything that's going to compete with what I want to do on my turn?
Well, the other thing that I felt a couple times happened didn't help with the downtime was someone would take their last turn in a round.
Right.
The round would be over. We would score things, but then that would put the person to be first in the next round.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they had just immediately drawn their cards, so then they got to go looking through their cards to figure out what they're going to do before anyone else can take their next action.
Sure.
So that slowed down the game a couple times as well.
And that leads straight into another issue that I had with the game, which is the iconography.
Yeah.
There is a ton of iconography, and even by the end of the game, I was picking up cards going, what does this even mean? This makes no sense. This scoring card makes no sense.
Yeah,
this doesn't make any sense.
I would say at the beginning of the game, I was like, oh, give me the reference sheet so I can look at what all this does. And I was looking at it constantly. Towards the end of the game, I was starting to get it, either through just memorizing what the card does or some of the iconography. But I thought it would be simpler.
Yeah.
And what it was, looking at it, I was like, oh, this is going to be simple. But after playing the game, I still had a lot of questions about what the cards did.
A lot of questions. And I feel like there's a lot of unique cards in there, too. So it's not like, there's this huge stack of cards of 100 cards plus. How many are in there? 200 cards, maybe?
Well, yeah, that was the other thing.
Between 1 and 200 cards. But, the maximum number of any one card in there is 4, I think.
Yeah. 4 or 5, yeah.
There are just tons of unique individual cards, and they all have different.
When we started the game, and I looked at that deck of cards, I was like, are we even going to get through half of this?
We went through twice.
Twice, yeah, we went through the entire deck twice. So the whole of me thinking that cards were going to be a scarce resource, I didn't feel that they were that scarce. There was a lot of cards that gave you more cards. I think I only had to take a null action to just draw 4. I think I only had to do that once.
Right.
Throughout the game, so it wasn't as tight as what I was expecting it to be. The combos were there. I thought that there would be some combo play, but it's just transitionary combos. They never stay around, so you're not building an engine or anything like that. And there are a couple of the special guild tiles which give you ongoing benefits.
Right.
But they're few and far between, and if you don't get it, then you aren't really building any engine. You're just dealing with what you draw.
And they weren't even that spectacular. Like, there was one that just gave you an increased hand size of 1.
I think the best one was the one that you had. The tiebreaker. Yeah, if there's a tie, you automatically win ties.
Yeah, that was an amazing tile. I definitely didn't want to give that one up. The having an extra hand size, I felt like that was almost nothing because it's so hard to get 8 cards in your hand because you're spending so many. Going back quickly to what you were talking about comboing, the really good cards cost 2 to activate. You have a hand size of 7, so that card plus 2 other cards going down, and you only have 4 cards left to combo with that. And that card that you play down for the epic combo, you have to play other stuff to power it up and make it actually work. So I found that like it wasn't like you were doing all these crazy things and comboing it. It was just use my entire hand to do one big play.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually that would be best to save it up when you're the last to go in a round.
Sure.
So that you could then score the tiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I felt underwhelmed. Yeah. By the gameplay, but overwhelmed by how much was happening on the board and how long the game was taking.
Right.
So it definitely didn't live up to the hype for me. I didn't. You had asked if we wanted to play it a second time.
I was going to say that,
and I was like, no, I don't need to play this a second time. I think I will try to play it once more,
right? Just
to see. Maybe not looking at the reference book all the time might make it go by faster, and then the game length will be more appropriate to what I feel it should be.
Right.
But I'm not holding out much hope for this game for me.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up as well, just because I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about?
Choo-choo! Playing the game a second time?
Right, yeah, because we had talked about how from this point on, or about a month ago, we were just like, we want to start playing every single game twice in a row.
Yeah. And
that's why I was like, hey, Jeffrey, do you want to just leave it set up and we'll play another one right away? And Jeffrey was like, no, and I was like, thank goodness. And it's not because like I didn't have fun. I by the end of it I was like, I'm not having fun playing this game at all. I thought I'd really enjoy the card play, the tough decisions, but I think the game was too long, like you were mentioning, for what it was. Now I do want to play it again because I think what you were saying, you can learn all the iconography, because I think that was a huge detriment for me anyways, personally, constantly having to go back for every freaking card to figure out what the heck it's doing. It was so frustrating. So now having a game under the table, we've played it, and just being able to go in and seeing those icons again, I'll probably only have to look up a handful of cards. Some of those unique ones where there's only one copy of the card in the deck, and who's gonna get it. It's I might have not seen like half the cards in the game because you guys, the other 2 players, had it. So did not enjoy it. I do want to try it again just to make sure, like you said. I think I would enjoy a second play more, but the first play didn't do anything for me.
I'm not itching to get this one back to the table at all. All right, well, that was our first impressions of Guilds of London. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We always appreciate when you guys do that.
We sure do. You can also follow us on Twitter at MeepleLeaf. And if you go down to the description down below, you can go to board game links and give us some hearts so other people can find our reviews.
All right, see you guys next time.
Take care.